In this tutorial, we're going to talk about creating contact records. And before we get started, I want to make a point that it's really important that you're consistent with your database as you enter your data. You want to make sure that you use proper spelling and correct title case, so that builds over time and you'll have the ability to create great reports. One of the first things that you want to do is, before you enter a new contact, to make sure they don't already exist. So using the find function that we talked about, we'll click on the find button and enter to the client's name. So we have a client named Adriana, and the last name is Cantu. So we'll search for that record, and we find there are no records under that name. So we can now create a new record and enter the first name. And to move from field to field, we hit the tab key. So enter the last name, and you notice we jump over the company name. This is the owner. And the field here for buyer, agent, or secondary, that would be like an assistant in the office or something like that. And you can keep track of what kind of a contact they are. And obviously here we don't need that. And this is a residential account. Marketing lead type is referral. And we'll enter the address. And we enter the zip code. And when I hit the tab key this time, you notice it automatically enters the city, the state, and the county. And we have a mobile number for this customer. You do not have to enter parentheses or anything. The software will automatically enter that for you. And email is important, so always try to get that. So once this information is entered, click on the arrow and move all the information over onto the service side as well. You notice that the account number is already entered, and you can assign the route to that. The master PO number, generally those are in commercial accounts where you're going to be doing work over and over again, and the customer has issued maybe an annual contract. Or the map code, you can put those in. If you have a apartment building and you got a property manager, you can enter that information as well. Down in the access info and directions, you can put any kind of note that you want your technician to know every month. So how about, please do not let the cat out? Or maybe you'd have a lockbox combo in the case of a real estate transaction. So once this information is entered, you also can set them up if you want to use a contact group. So let's say this person is going to be coming up on a quarterly basis. Since I'm treating them in the month of December, their first service is going to be due in March. So I can put March Pest Control. And the way you do this is totally up to you. If you're going to be using recurrence, there's no need to bring this up. It's just if you do want to be able to pull them up in a group, you can have as many contact groups as you like for each customer. Other information that you'll want to take care of at this time is the salesperson's name, and you can use initials or whatever you want to use there, and the terms, and if they're tax exempt, and whatever that state sales tax is going to be. If you have a separate city tax, same with QuickBooks tax rate if you're using QuickBooks. And then if you want to be able to consolidate that information with somebody else, you could assign this account to another individual. For instance, if you had a number of apartment buildings that were all going to be billed to the same location, you could use the assign button here. Perform a search, and let's say that you wanted to bill this to another company. You can put the company name in there. And just click the assign button, and now that account would be permanently assigned to bill to that customer when you're creating your statements. And as you see here, you can say, do you want to send statements? Is there a finance rate you want to charge? and the number of days before the finance charges. So let's say that the finance charge is 18%, 1.5% a month, and the days before a finance charge, let's say we're going to wait 45 days. So all of the information you've entered here, such as the billing and service location, the notes, and the terms and sales tax rates, these will all transfer to each work order, invoice, or service ticket as they're created. Another piece of information you may want to track would be the person who referred them. Let's say that this client was referred by someone. You want to track how many referrals are coming from that person. So I can put in that person's name here. And you notice it populates everything automatically based upon their existing contact record. So anytime in the future, I can use the find command to search on this field, and it'll bring up all the customers that this person has referred to us. Another tab here is documents. If you had a signed contract with this that maybe was done on paper and you wanted to scan it, you could add it to this customer's history, along with any other documents. And any notes you want to keep on this customer, you can type notes in here. Now these notes are not shared with the client anywhere. They don't appear on any client documents. We also have the creation date here, the time, who created it, who modified it, and there's always a contact ID and referral ID associated with that. If you have this customer in QuickBooks, you would also have the QuickBooks ID associated here. And now that we have the information entered, it's very easy to find out where that property is located. And we can even get driving directions from the office. And as a final reminder, when we have email addresses in here, we can use the icon here with the envelope to send email to this client. When you do that, it'll automatically record that email in the contact email tab. We can also navigate directly to today's schedule for all our technicians. And if we'd like to see a general view of the Smart Planner, we can click on the Smart Planner button here. There's also a Smart Planner button under each of the service tickets, which are linked directly to each service ticket. But when you click the Smart Planner button, you're just going to a week view rather than viewing anything tied to a particular record. In the next tutorial, we'll talk about creating an order.